Well, even a seasoned 3D printer makes mistakes, and I made a pretty bad one. But I'm going to show you in this video how I corrected it with Orca Slicer, and the process worked perfect. So let's take a look at the mistake. This is Workshop Wasteland Day 23, Tricks or Treats. In today's video, I have an awesome trick to fix a 3D printing mistake. This yellow part is a dust cyclone for on top of a 5-gallon bucket to use with a shop vac. This white piece that you see right here is the mistake, and this is what happened. So I'm using my Centauri Carbon, and it works great, but loading the filament in it, it's a little bit difficult. And I was using up what I had left of this roll of yellow, and then I was going to switch over to white, and I tried to like hot swap it. I should have just left it pause the print at the end of the roll of filament, but I was like, oh man, I got this. I was stuffing it in the tube, thought all was well. But when I realized that it hadn't grabbed the white colored filament, it had already went through a few layers on this print, not extruding any filament. So what happened is, when it did finally grab the white, it was extruding the filament into air, and of course that was the end of it. However, this top piece was like 7.5 hours into a 9-hour print, if I remember correctly, and I really didn't want to restart this whole thing, because that's a lot of wasted filament, and it's a lot of wasted time. So let's hop over to my computer and take a look at Orca Slicer and show you what I did to fix this problem. I think it's pretty darn clever. Hopefully you will as well. Alright, so here on the printer, when I click on the Device tab, I can come down to my Dust Collector PLA. This is my file right here, and you can see that it printed 407 layers until I clicked Stop. But I assumed about 3 layers is how many it extruded into the air with no filament at all until I caught it. So let's say it printed 405 layers until I realized there was a problem. So if I go to my Prepare tab, here is the piece that I printed. And if I slice this real fast to give us the preview, sorry, this is kind of slow. It's quite a piece, a lot of geometry to it. I guess I could have turned off support for video purposes, but you'll get the idea either way, so bear with me 1 second here. So when we go to the preview tab, I'm not sure what changed, but before it showed 500 layers. So I don't know what happened here, but either way, let's pretend that this number over here on the side were 500 layers, because that's what it actually showed before. So then what I did is I came back to my Prepare tab, click on the part, and go to this cut function, and took a guess at 75. If you look right here, this is saying the lower part, which in the video idea here is pink. So it's asking us if we want to keep that or not. Well, in this case, we do not want to keep it. So we're going to click Perform Cut, and now you can see what's left is what we needed. So now we'll go ahead and slice that, which will be much faster this time. And then in the preview, what I need to do now is play around until this matches up to what we need. So again, I'm saying that this printed 407, so let's call it 405 layers, which means we need to print 95 layers here. So I came back to my Prepare tab, hit Control Z to undo that, hit the slice again. Let's say this time go to 80. Again, we don't want to keep the bottom part. Click Perform Cut. Once again, slice it. And I had to go back and forth several times until I got this exactly where I wanted it. But once I had it, then it was perfect. This over here showed 95 layers, and we got it printed. So let me show you exactly what that piece looked like and how it got fixed. So this is what we ended up with, printed out, and then I of course glued this onto the top of my 3D print, and I think it's going to work just fine. This is not a super high load, or it doesn't need to be incredibly strong. I actually probably printed it a lot stronger than it needed to be, but I wanted it to last. But as you can see, the transition here is very nice. It's smooth all the way around. I think that I nailed exactly the layer that I needed. And what I did was printed about 5 or so layers, stopped my printer, popped it off, sat it down onto here, and compared how close it was. Tweaked it a little bit here and there. Like I said, I think I got it bang on exactly where it stopped and where I was able to resume and print the part perfectly. Again, this is what it looked like. As you can see, that's the piece that we messed up on and glued it onto the top. And then just a little bit of a shameless plug. This is accelerator and CA glue from Lowe's. I think it was about 25 bucks. This is a giant bottle of CA glue. It's a little bit thicker than most places' thin CA glue, but it's not as thick as their thick CA glue. So let's call this a medium thickness. Says this is 3.4 ounces of glue, a giant can of aerosol accelerator. So far, I love this for gluing together PLA and PETG. It works absolutely awesome. It doesn't seem to cure instantly like a lot of CA glues do, albeit we have the accelerator, which is great. But I'm pointing out that it doesn't cure instantly because it does give you just a little bit of working time. You don't have a lot of time, but you do have maybe 30 seconds or so to move something around and get it perfect where you want it. Let it set up or blast it with the accelerator, and then of course it cures instantly. But what I've noticed is accelerator seems to take some of the strength away. I think you're better off to let it cure on its own, wipe off the excess, let it cure, and call it good at that. So I don't use the accelerator unless I have to. So with that said, this can of accelerator is going to last absolutely forever. Again, like $25 at Lowe's. I imagine you can find it somewhere else. The company name is Instant Bond. Says bonds in seconds, and this is sienna acrylite adhesive, and it works really, really well. So I'm not getting paid to say that, just sharing an awesome product. Also wanted to show you how I recovered this 3D print and did not waste half a roll of filament and 7.5 hours of print time because I needed to redo it. I instead spent about an hour of monkeying around, wasted a little bit of filament. I think I printed 2 of these, and then 2 or 3 of the first, like I said, 8 or 10 layers. And maybe I'm wasted 50 grams of filament instead of whatever this is, probably 300 grams of filament. So definitely a good save. I don't know if there's a better way to do it on Orca Slicer in Cura, which is what I'm the most familiar with. That's what I've been using for a decade. I could have saved this a lot easier. However, I don't know if there's a better way in Orca or not, but what I just showed you is a for sure way to get it saved, recover your print, glue it together. Bob's your uncle, moving on to the next print. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe. Also, don't forget to like and comment down below. I'd love to know if you've done anything like this, or if you know of a better way to do it in Orca Slicer. Please share it, because I'm all about learning, and you're here to learn. I'm here to learn. We could do this all together. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in tomorrow's video.